I've been attending Grace Chapel for 15 years. Before I actually found Christ, I guess you could say, I live my life every day trying to fight through by myself, trying to overcome every obstacle that I was faced by myself. That's just the way I was raised.
Hi, I'm Andrea. When I was a little kid, my dad always tried to get me to go to church, but I never wanted to. And he always told me that I'd never be happy until I found Jesus. But I'd always tell him that I didn't need Jesus, that I was already happy and he would never make me happier.
I thought that the typical way to overcome was to go out, party, drink, be with your friends, be with people that actually you thought, cared for you.
As I grew up, I always felt like there was a hole inside my soul and that I was missing something. But I didn't know what that was or what to fill it with, so I just filled it with sin. One day I just had a breakdown and I ran to the bathroom and I cried for hours and hours and hours. And I just felt like I wanted to end my life. And I was at the breaking point where I just wanted to drink a full bottle of Clorox. I actually had it in my hand. And before I even drank it, my mom knocked on the door to make sure I was okay, and I ran out of the room and I was crying.
I've been going to youth camp for a few years, probably 4 or 5 years, something like that. Every year I would be praying, and every night at camp I'd be crying, typical thing. And I went every other year. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to be like this anymore. I'm not gonna live the life I lived before camp. And then I did it. I went home, would hang out with my friends, party, not care about anything else but myself and my friends. And then I went to camp this past year, and I went to camp pretty upset. My aunt just passed away right when we were leaving, and it brought me down a little bit, and I was just pretty upset at everybody. Didn't really want to talk, didn't even want to be there in the first place, wanted to go home. And then the third night I was there, Cody Hickman actually put his arms around me, and I just couldn't stop crying. I let it all go, And then I realized that night I spoke in tongues my very first time.
And then I went to school the next day in orchestra, and I heard my friend Courtney and Stacy talking about God, and I jumped in the conversation and I was like, there is no God, he's done nothing for me. And they just looked at me like completely shocked. And then I got a text at night, and it was from Courtney, and she was inviting me to church. And it took like 2 weeks for me to actually go. But when I went, it was worship night. And during the first song, I broke down and cried. And I felt something flow through my body, and I knew I was saved. And I found what I was looking for.
Ever since I've came home from that experience, it's something I'll never forget. It's something you can't turn around, you can't change, you can't redo it. It's there for good. And all I have to say is that you live for Jesus Christ, and if you're living every day like I did in the past and think that you're going to get somewhere, you can't get it on your own. No matter how many friends you have, no matter how big they are, no matter how big you are, you have to have Jesus Christ. And
now life is it's perfect right now. I mean, I still have my hard times, but I know I can get through them because I have both of my dads in heaven looking over me.
I am Nathan Mays, and I am Grace Chapel.
I'm Andrea, and I am Grace Chapel.